Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man JRich.
Count that money, man.
Now wipe the crust out of your eyes, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with RayG. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. All right, we're back. Jay.
How
do we sound? I can't even get excited right now. I can't even get excited. It's been bass drums and 808s to start the show for 3 straight days. I'm hoping the 4th time is a charm. How do I sound this morning?
You sound beautiful.
Thank
I'm ready to
you.
start the show.
I'm ready.
We got some West Coasters in the building. I'm excited.
Ready. Yes, the West Coast is in the building. Good morning. It is Thursday, January 6th, 2022. This is Wake Up with RayG. Yeah, it's cold. I see people in the comments talking already. It's 30 damn degrees outside here in Dallas, Texas, but we still going to bring you that heat today because we've got to talk quarterbacks. But before we get into that, we have to say hello to my good friend, JRich. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I got into NFL all day yesterday, and so I'm pretty excited because they're going to have a Jamar Chase moment from the game against Kansas City. And so if I get that, I will sell it to the highest bidder for $10,000. But if I don't, I'm just going to cry. But I'm having a great day. You know, your mic is sounding great, and I'm excited for you. You can walk into the show with confidence, and it means it will be our best show yet. Guaranteed.
I prayed. It gave me anxiety. Like last night, I was texting you. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. I'm unplugging stuff, blowing shit out like it's a game, like a Nintendo cartridge from back in the day. But we're good. We're in the building. And yeah, you know, NFL this weekend, Dallas Cowboys play on Saturday versus the Eagles. So we'll probably throw out a couple of prize pick prop bets for stuff that we like. We're not professional bettors here. We just like to have fun with it. So just follow our social media feeds. Quick reminder, make sure you follow the Wake Up TV show on Twitter so you can submit questions for next week's Q&A. Just a little heads up what we'll be diving into next week. We got mock drafts that we're going to talk about. We're going to do Q&As on Wednesday, and then we'll figure out all the other shit in between. But make sure you're following Jordan on Twitter. Follow myself at RayGQue on Twitter. You see the stuff down below. Follow the show. Support the show. Patreon.com/Prospect Talk. Dopest Dynasty, Devy, college football community in fantasy football. It's a good time over there. But we got a little bit of news to get into real quick because Jay is going to piss y'all all off with some of these quarterback takes from 2021. And we'll sort of wrap up the wholesale overall picture of what we think from these rookies here in 2021. But Jay, let's get into the morning run so you can hit them with the news, baby.
Wake up! This is the morning run.
Run, Forrest, run!
All right, Jay, let's get it.
You know, we got to start with AB. Yesterday, AB put out a statement basically clarifying his side of the story about the whole incident in New York, talking about how we know about the injury. He didn't practice all week. Bruce Arians knew about the injury as well. The GM knew about the injury. So he put out a statement basically clarifying, saying that Bruce Arians on the sidelines told him that he has to go in the game. And AB's like, nah, like, Bruce, I can't do it. My ankle hurts too much. They injected him with a painkiller, one that he claimed the NFLPA was trying to get out of the game because it's not necessarily safe for all athletes. And so BA's like, all right, you don't go on the game, you're out of here. Apparently did the whole cutthroat thing, you're cut, blah, blah, blah. So AB, you know, he admitted that his actions were out of hand, but at the same time, he was cut on the field. He wasn't even given the courtesy to stay on the sidelines with his teammates. So he's like, I'm not going to put this team's jersey on my back if they're going to do me like this. I'm going to leave, like he was basically told to do already. And then he went and got an opinion on that ankle, got an MRI for it. It is broken. There's ligament damage. He's going to have surgery. He's not going to be playing the rest of the season. But the Bucks are trying to claim that he needs to go see another doctor, apparently a lesser doctor at the same hospital. So it's a very strange situation with AB right now. I tend to believe him. You know, it's very rare that an athlete of his type of stature just lies about stuff because, again, his antics and the way he's acted in the past don't really lend many people to believing him. But the way this all played out, I could really see a scenario where this would have happened because AB's just too talented to be like, okay, I got cut, I'm going to sit on the sidelines and just not do anything. He's like, forget this, man, I'm going to leave. He has no reason to be there if they don't want him to be on the team. He's saying he doesn't want to play for Tampa anymore, and he wants people to really look into the actions that Bruce Arians been putting up with in Tampa Bay. And maybe it goes to show kind of why Brady didn't say a whole lot about AB in the press conference. And on top of that, the Bengals are going to be resting some of their starters this week. We also found out that Joe Mixon has COVID. Joe Burrow definitely not playing. And then Micah Parsons as well, the Cowboys linebacker, not going to be playing. I'm not so worried about that situation. I think the Eagles rest some guys. We know that they have a lot of COVID issues already. Micah Parsons, unlikely to play this week. He is vaccinated, but chances are he's not going to be playing unless he does clear protocols by Sunday. We'll see. And then big news in the NFL draft, Aiden Hutchinson, the potential first overall pick out of Michigan, declared for the NFL draft. And a player that we talked about on Monday, Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver out of Kentucky, has declared for the NFL draft. So that wide receiver class in 2022 just got a little bit stronger. Wan'Dale Robinson, super dynamic talent out of Kentucky. Really excited to see where he ends up. He could be, a day 2 pick that really does something at the next level quickly.
Yeah, I'm with you with Wan'Dale, man. I was kind of worried that he was going to stay with Kentucky. Will Levis is coming back, dynamic quarterback. I think he's probably a top 3 quarterback right now in 2023. But Wan'Dale declaring is good. I'm extremely high on Wan'Dale Robinson, probably a little bit higher than most. I just think he's an extremely unique talent. He's a dynamic player. We're going to see how he measures in at the combine. I want to make sure that he's officially. I looked at his high school recruiting profile. He was 5'9" coming out of high school, and now Kentucky has him listed at 5'11". Just moving forward, I'm just going to be a little cautious on some of those undersized wide receivers. Like they just, it's tough for them to sort of really find that role at the next level. So just want to see what Wan'Dale measures in at, but excited about that. The whole AB thing is wild, man. And like I said on Monday, the truth lies somewhere in between, right? Like it made it. There's no doubt, and there's no doubt. I don't think anybody will debate Antonio Brown's actions, even if everything he says is true. Is unprofessional, right? You don't throw your shit off on the sideline, run across the field while the game is like you just don't do that, right? Like there's no justification for his reaction, but he reacted like that because of some. I just find it hard to believe he just lost it because. He wasn't getting targeted, right? Like it wouldn't be the first time AB hasn't had a lot of targets in a game, and like I always said, the truth lies somewhere in the middle, and it's interesting that he hasn't been released yet, has he? Like he hasn't officially been.
Still hasn't been released. No, he's still on the team technically, but it's because they're trying to sort out this whole issue of they want him to get a second opinion with another doctor to prove essentially that his ankle actually is broken and he's not falsifying medical information.
If you had to put money on it right now, does AB play another snap in the NFL?
I think it depends on what happens with the situation. If it turns out that he was telling the truth and he does have a broken ankle, I think absolutely. It just depends on who's really going to take him in because, again, he does still have the previous history. But AB's just a guy who is so talented. If you think it's worth it, and I think there are coaches, especially some older coaches, who will think, I can keep this guy under wraps because we have a good team and we have a shot, so he has a really good reason to be there. I don't see why you wouldn't take a shot on him. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He probably will be in the Hall of Fame. So even if you were Kansas City next offseason, why wouldn't you want to bring in AB?
I think he's going to play again. I think he's going to get another shot. I think regardless if he's telling 100% truth, there's enough truth in this story where a team will say, we can make it work. I think he's back in the NFL again. I'm not saying he's coming in as some featured starter, but I think he gets another opportunity, whether that be through training camp, in-season injury, they bring him back. I think he gets another chance. And to Bruning's point, 100%, Antonio Brown, let's just be conservative, is one of the 10 best wide receivers to ever play the game of football. He is 100% a Hall of Famer. Will he get in? I think they are going to give him the Terrell Owens treatment. Like, he is not going to be
100%.
The whole Hall of Fame voting process is broken, in my opinion. I just think that if you have the merit to get in, all this, he was mean to the media, and your play on the field was, and I'm being conservative with top 10 wide receiver. I think he's probably top 7 wide receiver to ever play the game of football. 100% his play on the field deserves for him to be recognized as one of the best players. I'm not getting into any of the it's funny because so many people want to talk about like the behavior of athletes, and if y'all really know, all these dudes ain't good dudes. You know what I mean? All these cats aren't good cats. Like they're not Charles Barkley says it best. I'm not a role model. I don't want to be a role model. I'm not your kid's role model. I'm a basketball player. I do this thing. Like these guys aren't model citizens. Not all of them. So to nitpick and choose because I don't agree with it. Like judge me on what I did on the field. On the field, my production as an NFL player. If you don't like me, morally or all that other stuff, and Antonio Brown, and I'm not advocating because from everything that we've seen and other stories and videos, Antonio Brown seems like probably not the best guy. I don't know him, so I don't want to pass judgment. But when I'm talking about when his helmet is on and it's in between the lines for those 60 minutes, he's one of the best to ever do it. I think he's going to get another shot. We'll see how it plays out. I still think the truth lies somewhere in between Bruce Arians and Antonio Brown. But we've got to talk about these rookie quarterbacks from 2021. And, y'all, this was supposed to be this generational class. Jay, I'm just going to go ahead and do the Eminem from 8 Mile and get ahead of myself. I put out a video. It is still out there. I am team never delete tweets, never delete takes. And I said Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback prospect of all time. Of all time. A generational quarterback prospect. He's a floor-raising player. And there was no way T-Law was going to miss at the NFL level. I was not alone in that assumption. And this is why. Moving forward in fantasy football, I am not going to debate, argue, and spend months and months talking about the quarterback position. Done. Not going to do it. I will evaluate the players. I will put my rankings out there. These are the quarterbacks that I think are QBs 1 through 5, and then I'm moving on. Because the NFL can't even get QBs right, man. The NFL misses left and right on quarterbacks year in and year out. And I can just rattle off names off the top of my head. Jake Locker, E.J. Manuel, Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert, Josh Rosen, Mitch Trubisky, Sam Darnold. I mean, year after year, all these quarterbacks are drafted in the first round. Baker Mayfield, 101. And the NFL can't figure it out, man. The NFL cannot get it right. So us, as untrained professionals, spending 3-4 months arguing over who's 1 and 2. We spend all this time. T-Laws, locked in 101. If you drafted right now, Jay, I'm just asking you, and I'm asking the people, not just you, I'm asking the people. If you had to redo your 2021 rookie drafts right now, let's talk Superflex or 2QB, would you take T-Law over Najee Harris, over Jamar Chase, maybe over Kyle Pitts? What we know right now, are you still willing to make that bet? Jay, would you still be willing to make the bet on the quarterback, given the positional value and what you know today? Would you take Trevor Lawrence 101 in a Superflex draft today?
Hell no. There's no way in hell I would do that. It's Jamar Chase.
Okay. So I'm just not going to debate it anymore. So we're not even going to start with T-Law because we're going to save Trevor for the end. So the first quarterback that I want to talk about was one of the last ones drafted. Nobody was talking about him. No chance to be good whatsoever. Houston Texans quarterback Davis Mills was drafted in the 3rd round, first pick of the 3rd round in 2021. We know the Texans aren't a good franchise, right? We know they're not good. The Deshaun Watson saga, Tyrod Taylor, Davis Mills. Davis Mills comes in, starts out, and he looks not good at all. Bad. But as the season started to go on, as the season started to progress, and Davis Mills got a little more comfortable, he looked okay. 2-8 record, 2,363 passing yards, 6.5 yards per attempt, 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 32nd in QBR. Pressured 21.2% of the time, 2.2 seconds time in the pocket to throw the ball. He's not getting a lot of time back there, right? Every other rookie quarterback had about 2.4 seconds to throw the ball. When you're talking about time in the pocket to get rid of it, Aaron Rodgers, 2.2s. Tom Brady, 2 points. So he's got Aaron Rodgers' level of time, and he's half the talent that Aaron Rodgers is. When I
No,
look
no,
at
Ray, hold on. Let me
Okay.
clarify that for you for
Okay,
this stat real
clarify.
quickly. This is time to get rid of the ball. So this
That's
is
what I mean,
actually a
time to
good
throw.
stat. This is more of delivery, but this is delivery.
Like
So
his
this is actually the time that it takes you to get rid of the ball,
Okay.
not time in the pocket as far because this counts actual throws. So Aaron Rodgers getting the ball out quickly, Tom Brady getting the ball out quickly. So Davis Mills is getting the ball out 0.2 seconds faster than every other rookie quarterback.
Okay.
Which is one of the reasons why some of his underlying stats are better than all the other rookie quarterbacks.
Got you. So he's got a fast release. He's getting rid of the ball. Well, you need to clarify that in the notes. I'm like Ron Burgundy. I read what you put, and these are shitty notes. So do better in explaining it so I don't look silly live here on TV. Davis Mills, quick release. That's what it is. Put something ahead of the damn thing to tell me what it is. He's got a quick release. He's on par with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. I'm okay with Davis Mills. I think Davis Mills has earned the right to start quarterback for the Houston Texans in 2022. Do I think he's going to be some long-term staple at the position? Probably not. Probably not, but stranger things have happened. Tom Brady, 6th-round pick, makes it happen. Dak Prescott, 4th-round pick, franchise quarterback. Crazier things have happened. So can he do it? I'll just say this. At least we saw flashes of competency from Davis Mills in 2021. There's some quarterbacks where you're real shaky. You're combing through the web to find some flashes of potential starter, ability. I'm okay with Davis Mills. If you drafted him dead late, got him off waivers, and you get offered a 1st-round pick for him, quarterback scarcity, take it. I would rather not bet on that. I don't know what else. We have to look up some trades involving Davis Mills. But ultimately, you've increased the value that you invested in Davis Mills already. Regardless if you move him for a 2nd-round pick, nobody was drafting Davis Mills in the 2nd round of rookie drafts. He's at minimum a 2nd, right? A starting quarterback going into 2022. I do not believe the Texans are going to draft a quarterback at 102 or 103, wherever they're sitting, not with Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Kyle Hamilton on the board. It's not going to happen. Davis Mills is going to go on the 2022 season as the starting quarterback for Houston. Good value return for Davis Mills. QB 37 on the season, 12.34 points per game. Nothing to get excited about, but you got some value from a player that we didn't think would be anything at all in the NFL, so I'm fine with what Davis Mills was able to accomplish. Now let's go to Chicago and talk about a player who, for me, I had him 1A and 1A with Trevor Lawrence. Flip a coin. Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, were the top 2 quarterbacks in the 2021 class. And we know Matt Nagy, the Chicago Bears, have already said Matt Nagy is not coming back to Chicago next season. I'll be real interested to see. Hopefully they bring in a quarterback-type grooming coach to work with Justin Fields. I would hate, first of all, you see I got the Dallas hat on. I would hate to lose Kellen Moore, but he needs a Kellen Moore type player. He need a coach. Kellen Moore worked hand in hand with Dak. He played quarterback. He got it. Played for the Cowboys. He needs one of those type of coaches. I would love to see him paired up with Kellen Moore. I can't really think of any other hot OCs off the top of my head, but Justin Fields this season, QB 31 overall finish, 12.34 points per game, QB 38. So him and Davis Mills right there, neck and neck together. Justin Fields on the season, 58% completion percentage, over 1,800 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. There were flashes, right? There were flashes. He wasn't great, wasn't bad, but there were enough big plays from Justin Fields to warrant consideration. Like, yeah, this dude really could possibly be a thing and be it. Does he have top 5 potential? I don't know. I think it's too early to judge on that, right? We're looking at these rookies from what they did in 2021 and trying to project them moving forward. And if I'm projecting Justin Fields moving forward, and let's just say our top 5 is in some way, shape, form, or order is Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen at 6, do I see him cracking that? Probably not. But, Dak Prescott range, QB7, QB8. Yeah, I think that is within his range of outcomes. You know, they need a couple of more weapons on the outside in Chicago. I like Darnell Mooney. I don't believe Allen Robinson is coming back. And, you know, Fields, it was strange because he was banged up a lot, and we really didn't see that from him at Ohio State. He never really got hurt, but the NFL is different. The offensive line is bad in Chicago. But Justin Fields moving forward, I feel a level of safety with him, but who are they going to bring in? And while we like to think of these hot, innovative, creative play callers, it wouldn't shock me if they brought damn Jack Del Rio in to coach the Chicago Bears, because the NFL is just a recycle can of old, washed-up NFL coaches. So let's hope and pray they do not do that in Chicago, and they actually bring in a player coach that can develop him, because I do think he has the talent to at least be, you know, a top 10 dynasty asset at the quarterback position. I'll just say it straight out. None of these guys return value from where we drafted them at over the summer, but you're projecting forward. And projecting forward, I feel good about Justin Fields moving forward. Get him some more weapons. Bring in a coach that can groom the quarterback. Let them grow together. Improve that offensive front. And in a division where, I mean, really, Aaron Rodgers is going to run that division, but he may be gone. That division could totally be up for grabs in 2022 if Aaron Rodgers is no longer in Green Bay. I feel good about Justin Fields moving forward. He was picked at the 110 spot. Chicago traded up for him. I think that's a good pick. I'm still in on Justin Fields as far as a potential elite asset at the quarterback position in fantasy football. Now, Jay, a player who I was not as high on coming into the draft process, didn't really like the landing spot, and early through the season, he was proving me right as to why I wasn't really feeling him. But towards the last, 5 weeks of the season, once he came back from injury, we saw flashes, right? And I'm not expecting rookie quarterbacks, and I think we all have to temper our expectations, because not all these guys are going to come in and be Justin Herbert from day one. All I'm looking for is something. Like, did they show a flash? Did they show something, some confidence? Did they build on something? Did they improve and get better through the season instead of regress and get worse? And when you think of regress and get worse, this is the worst example, but he is a good worst example. Mike Glennon was worse every time he stepped on the field. Every time Mike Glennon went in and dropped back to throw the ball for the Giants, it looked worse than the throw in the rep before. But Zach Wilson, the gunslinger from BYU, QB 29 on the season, 12.75 fantasy points per game. All these quarterbacks are like 35, QB 36, 37, 38 in consecutive order. But Zach Wilson did show me throughout the season that, I've got the arm talent. You're seeing him scramble 60 yards to the end zone. He's got the athleticism. He's got a young stud wide receiver in Elijah Moore. He's got a young, capable back in Michael Carter. You put some more weapons around him. They're trying to build on the offensive line. I think Zach Wilson can be a solid quarterback. Again, when I'm looking at can he crack the top 10, I think the answer to that at this stage, right now, just right now, would be unequivocally no. Like, no, I don't foresee that happening. But a QB in the range of like QB 12 to QB 17, I think so. I like what I've seen from Zach Wilson. And one thing about me is I don't care about hanging on to priors. If I wasn't in on you at the beginning and you turn out to be you show some promising skill sets, I'm going to adjust. It's not about me being right with what I said. It's about adjusting to new information and providing actionable content for you guys to go out there and make informed decisions to go acquire these players, to go put bets on these guys week in and week out. And Zach Wilson is somebody that I have confidence in. You get Corey Davis back, right? Corey Davis is going to slide into the exact role he probably should have been in from day one, a wide receiver 2 to Elijah Moore's alpha wide receiver 1 status. Those are two good weapons for Zach Wilson. You add some more talent around him. He's got the arm strength. He's shown guts coming back and playing hard despite a bad situation. I like the progression of Zach Wilson. We'll see all these QBs, their story is incomplete. I like the progression of Zach Wilson on the season. What's he have? 2,200 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. 23.6 bad throws. 23% of his passes were bad throws. Is that correct, Jay? And then 70.6% of his passes are on target, 29% pressure rate. So I'm assuming that's how much he gets pressured. What are your thoughts? You like Zach Wilson coming out, right?
Yeah, I think my biggest point about Zach Wilson was he's still being drafted just as high as everybody else. The Jets love him just as much as everybody else, so they're going to want to build around him. And then on top of that, you have a guy who has a lot of talent, but again, are we sure he can hold up to the moment out of BYU? The last 5 weeks of the season, he was QB 16 in that span in points per game with 15.1, and he's QB 11, he was QB 11 overall. But he played 6 games, some guys played 5, whatever. But I think to your point, we saw what Zach Wilson can be in a capable offense. And the Jets are still a bad team. But one thing that the Jets do have that people don't really talk about as much is they do have a good offensive line. And that offensive line is going to continue to get better as Zach Wilson improves, learns how to read coverages, learns how to slide the line in the ways that they can defend him and protect him. He was pressured at the highest rate amongst all rookies, 29%. Super, super high, 9% sack percentage. So, again, Zach Wilson got pressured a lot. Threw a lot of bad passes early. We heard reports of him being really skittish in the pocket, seeing ghosts out there. But he played well, and is playing better each and every week. And we'll see, maybe week 18 he has another good performance. But I'm in on Zach Wilson. I think that people are still sleeping on him because he looked so bad early through 4 picks against New England. But these last 5 weeks, we have seen an improvement. And we can't say that for all these quarterbacks. We've seen these guys start off bad and get better throughout the season. And Zach Wilson could continue that momentum into 2022. And that's why I like him.
Yeah. I'm with you. And it takes a couple of years to figure out because let's not forget, Josh Allen's first and second year were abysmal. And I vividly, and y'all remember it, going into his third season, the question was, does Josh Allen get an extension? Is he the quarterback of the future for Buffalo? He was being discounted in startup drafts, startup drafts and trades. And then all of a sudden, boom, blows up, has an MVP caliber season, and secures a $200+ million bag. So I think the 2-3 year mark is about where you really can see what you have in a quarterback. But again, we're just grading them and viewing them on what they put on wax this season. I'm fine with Zach Wilson. I'm in on Zach Wilson. I still think there's some potential there. If you can go trade for him for the low, go do it. Now, you know we got to talk about Mac Daddy Jones. McCorkle, Mac Jones, quarterback out of Alabama. I still believe, listen, just hear me out, Jay. I truly believe that San Francisco they were going to take him at 3. I wholeheartedly believe that. And Twitter bullied that franchise into Trey Lance. Now, I like Trey Lance, so it's not like I hate the pick. But I think they were on board with Mac Jones. And I do think Mac Jones could come into that offense and run it to a Jimmy Garoppolo plus type level. He can't do what Trey Lance can do. He doesn't have the arm strength. He definitely doesn't have the mobility. But I do believe that there was some truth to San Francisco. They can come out and say he was never an option for him at 3. I think that where there's smoke, there was some fire. And I think after that came out, and the public pressure got to him like, hell no, you can't do that. They made a pivot. Neither here nor there. Mac Jones drafted by the New England Patriots, and I've got the receipts. I'm a petty person, so I keep all kinds of tabs on people who talk shit about me, just in case I need to pull it from the inventory from time to time. But there were a lot of people who said Mac Jones wouldn't even be a competent starter in the NFL, let alone a first-round pick. Like, there was no way. And go check the receipts. I was saying it from October of his college season. I was like, he's going to be a first-round pick. There's no doubt. He's going to be a first-round pick. He's accurate in college. He's a tough player. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly. He's going to be a first-round pick. Goes to New England. Very good situation. Who's receiving core? Maybe Detroit. Maybe Houston. But hell, I'd take Brandon Cooks over anybody in New England. New England has some of the worst pass catchers in the NFL. The worst supporting cast from the skill position players in the NFL. Jacoby Myers, Wilkerson, number 17, whatever his name is. Nelson Aguilar isn't playing. N'Keal Harry is not good. Worst supporting cast of pass catchers in the league. Mac Jones finishes the season as QB, is finishing the season right now, going into week 17, as QB 17, 14.13 fantasy points per game, which puts him at QB 27, and that's with him taking a week off, only throwing 3 passes versus Buffalo. But this is what you expected out of Mac. No one expected him to be a top 10, top 12 quarterback. What we expected going in from Mac Jones was a QB2, a quarterback 2. You put him in your second super flex spot, and you've got a player who's not going to bomb you a week and Baker Mayfield you. He's going to give you your 14, 15, 16 fantasy points. And then there were some weeks, what was it, Jay? There were like 5 weeks where he got us 20 plus fantasy points as a rookie. Like, he's done everything that you've asked of him as a rookie. 3,540 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and 67% completion percentage, almost a 68% completion percentage. So I don't know what else we wanted from him. He seems to have shown that he belongs in the NFL. Am I saying that he's going to be a top 5, top 10 dynasty quarterback? Hell no. But can he reach a level where he's QB 12, QB 13 with better pass catching weapons around him? Let's just say hypothetically, Chris Godwin, ACL. He may not command the money that he was going to get on the open market pre-ACL, but you bring in a Chris Godwin and they draft Jamison Williams. You bring in Allen Robinson and you draft, Treylon Burks. That immediately helps Mac. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly. Good processor. He turns it over a little bit, but he's a rookie. This is by far the most impressive rookie quarterback season from the 2021 class. And a lot of people say, oh, it's just New England. Oh, it's just the system. We've seen other quarterbacks come in and not be able to be successful in the system. The guy still has to play. He still has to deliver the ball. He still has to get it out quickly. He still has to make the reads. He still has to get up from getting hit. And I think Mac Jones has shown everybody that not only does he belong in the league, he's a legitimate quarterback 2 in fantasy, exactly what we drafted him to be. Get him some better weapons, get a better supporting cast around him. And not only do I think he's a good quarterback for the New England Patriots, he's going to be a solid fantasy producer for us in that secondary role. If a quarterback went down and you had to throw Mac Jones in, you don't feel just terrified that you were terrified to throw Ben Roethlisberger in your lineup. Terrified. You didn't know what you were going to get. If you had to put Baker Mayfield in there a week, you were mortified. If you had to put Trevor Lawrence in your damn lineup, you honestly were like, I may be better off leaving this position blank because he may give me a 0 or negative points. I think there's a safety floor with Mac Jones, and there's still a little bit of a ceiling in there, right? It may not be skyscraper Trey Lance levels, but there is a world in which I think he can go out there and average 19 points per game. You don't think he can give us an extra 5 fantasy points per game between now and the end of his career? They've got an excellent ground game. We'll see how it plays out. But what we're talking about, what he did in 2021, I am encouraged by Mac Jones. 18.3% of his passes were bad throws, deemed bad throws. 76.4% of his targets were deemed on target, and that was the highest in this rookie class. Mac Jones is showing that he can compete, that he can play. You get him some weapons around him, and I think you have something on your hands with Mac Jones. Now, T-Law, the 101, the generational can't miss, best prospect since Luck, best prospect since John Elway. We all know the situation was historically bad in Jacksonville. There were a lot of people who thought it was going to work with Urban Meyer. I was not one of those people. I was calling that a disaster from the time he was hired, from the time he drafted ETN in round 1. This was a disastrous pick that was only going to end one way. And by golly, Urban Meyer exceeded all expectations. I mean, from lap dances in a bar, not flying back on the team plane, kicking the kicker, ruling like a dictator inside that locker room, calling his coaches trash, not knowing who the hell is on the field, not knowing what players were on his own team. It was a failure of epic proportions. It was bad. Trevor Lawrence's situation is bad, and when you look at what he did this year, he finishes the season as QB 24, 12.34 fantasy points per game, which puts him as QB 36. And I'm just asking the question, where are we at? Where are we at with Trevor Lawrence? Because Jay and I talked about this all day yesterday. I want to give him a mulligan for 2021. I want to just say, clean slate. I refuse to believe he's this bad of a quarterback. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. JRich, on the other hand, says hell no, Trevor Lawrence should not and will not get a mulligan for his performance this season. Jay?
Okay, so my biggest issue with that is, did Jared Goff get a mulligan? No. His coach was Jeff Fisher. We all know Jeff Fisher's a terrible coach. He did not get a mulligan. People were calling him the biggest bust in history. Is he a capable quarterback now? He's fine, right? He's not a good quarterback. You don't really want him. But again, number 1 overall pick, was deemed a bust after his first season. Terrible coach. And I think he had like 9 fantasy points per game. Josh Allen, same situation. But again, he was more of a raw talent. And this is where my biggest issue lies. Would Lamar Jackson get a pass? Would Jalen Hurts get a pass? Right? Would Deshaun Watson get a pass? Would Patrick Mahomes get a pass? None of these guys would get a pass, but we're ready to give Trevor Lawrence a pass.
Why are you naming all the black quarterbacks? Why are you naming all the black quarterbacks?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
It could be anybody. Carson Wentz, he actually had a pretty okay rookie season, depending on who you ask. The thing with Trevor Lawrence is that, and you've mentioned it all show, you've been hinting at it. Every quarterback has improved. Every quarterback has really shown us something. The only quarterback who hasn't is the generational talent, Trevor Lawrence. He's thrown the ball 570 times, and he has less passing yards than Mac Jones, who had 2 bye weeks this season. So tell me how this guy is gonna go from, Jared Goff land to top 5 quarterback, ceiling, elite. This is just my problem with where we're at, is like, we're ready to give him a pass to the point of he can still be generational. And that's where I don't think we can go there. I don't think we can give him that level of a pass. But it's just maybe his ceiling isn't as high as we thought it was.
Here's my thing though. You can't, out of one side of your mouth, talk. Well, then if you're not going to give Trevor Lawrence a pass for his bad situation, then I don't want to hear about Mac Jones only thriving because he was in a good situation. You can't on one side of the coin say, oh, Mac's in a great situation, that's why he's succeeding, but then admit that Trevor's in a bad situation and not give him any credit for that. Like, you can't. I don't see how you can do that, man. Like, you're talking about.
So what my point is, though, is that we talk about the actual supporting cast and whose supporting cast is better.
But
I'd say it's pretty close, right?
It's not just the players, right? It's the coaches putting the players in situations to succeed. When you don't have
for sure
your best offensive weapon in James Robinson on the field, you're not giving him the ball. You don't throw Laviska, and maybe Laviska Shenault's not good. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's just not that good. But when you're best at one point, like, listen to this, the best wide receivers for Jacksonville this year, the 2 most consistent and most explosive wide receivers was a defensive back and Laquan Treadwell. Those were the best 2 wide receivers on Jacksonville's team this year. Dan Arnold goes down. They don't have a tight end of consequence. Like, you can't ignore the fact that not only was the situation as far as talent around him very bad, the infrastructure, the coaches not getting along, not legitimately Urban Meyer not knowing players on his own team, that didn't factor into him. And I get you. I'm not saying give him a full-fledged pass, but I am not DEFCON 5 pressing the panic meter. I'm out on Trevor Lawrence. There were people who drafted him in startups and he was going like 109. He was going first round.
Yeah.
You don't feel good about that at all today, because if you took T-Law, you probably passed on Dak. You probably passed on Burrow for sure.
Burrow, yeah.
You don't feel good about that right now. But I'm not throwing in the towel. There's no way. Like, at some point, some just common football sense has to take a hold of the conversation. That situation, I don't care if it was Mac Jones, Justin Fields. You put Dak Prescott in Jacksonville. With that, I don't know if he looks as good as he does with Dallas. That situation was bad. So I get hearing you say you don't want to give him a mulligan for the season, but I think that's why with quarterbacks it does take 2 or 3 years. Now, next year, for me, next year is going to be like, all right, it's getting the make or break point. Like, next year you gotta start showing something. But this year, man, and you're right, and it's unfortunate that we're here, but if this were Mac Jones, I don't think anybody would give him a mulligan. I don't. If it were Mac
Hell no, they
Jones,
wouldn't.
people would be like, he's a bust. I told you he can't play. Didn't belong in the NFL. He's washed up. If it were Zach Wilson, I mean, people were already
Any other QB in the
You're
class.
right.
Doesn't matter which
But-
one it was. Could have been Davis Mills. Could have been
But these
Zach
guys
Wilson.
get
Could have been
passes,
Trey
man.
Lance.
We're seeing
Justin
it with
Fields.
Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, if Baker wasn't the first overall pick, there's no way in hell he would have remained the starter in Cleveland for as long as he did. There's no way in hell we'd still be talking about are the Cleveland Browns going to extend Baker Mayfield. There is some level of like, I guess teams just don't, very few teams believe in the sunk cost fallacy where we drafted Josh Rosen 1 year with our first round pick. He ain't it. We're going to turn right back around next year and draft a quarterback in Kyler Murray. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens when you're the number one pick, man. You get leeway and latitude that other players won't. And a lot of people, man, they don't want to admit. I don't know why they don't like Mac Jones. Maybe because the way that he looks, like his body style, like he's built like Hank Hill. Like he's literally built like Hank Hill. He doesn't have this explosive cannon of an arm, but neither does Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's got phenomenal weapons around him, and he's a damn good quarterback. So I just feel like we have to give some level of just mulliganism to Trevor Lawrence and just say, like, this season was a wash, man. I get both sides of it.
So and I don't want people to hear what I'm not saying because we were looking at value for Trevor Lawrence right now. He's an absolute buy. If you can get him for a fair price, you should be looking to acquire Trevor Lawrence. I think for me, it's just if he does have a good first couple weeks, I wouldn't hesitate to sell him. If the price goes back to, because if his price goes back all the way up to like be a top quarter, but we don't know. I'm just having a conversation with the people, right? Is that if he has a first 3 weeks where he blows up, he could skyrocket again because again he's Trevor Lawrence, and that name means so much to people.
Let me tell you why I don't think that's going to happen, and it's because of the expectation that was placed on him coming into the season. It's the same thing when I look at Spencer Rattler and DJ Uiagalelei. People had Spencer Rattler as the 2022 101 and DJU as the 2023 101 quarterback. But that's all we were talking about going into the season. The expectations were here. They failed so underneath that bar that in order to even get back to the expectation level, they're going to have to be just like, unless Trevor Lawrence comes out next year and Justin Herbert's it from day one, Patrick Mahomes level, for him to get back to the value that he was at pre-NFL draft during the summer, he's going to have to go berserk. I don't think it's going to take 2 years for him to get, or at least a consistent amount of games in 2022 for that value to get back there. And I don't know if he'll get that. And that's my same feeling with Spencer Rattler and DJU. Their expectations were so high and they failed so low that they're going to have to make up a ton of ground just to get back in the conversation. So for me, if he has 3 good games, I'm not, because what are you going to sell for? 2 first? Or a first, and I'm not doing that. Like, I just refuse to believe he's that bad. And to Matt Bruning's point, Matt's like, the franchise is abysmal. When have they shown competency in their decisions? That's why I keep saying, man, Jay, I keep saying this. I think, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, I think situation truly does matter. To what degree situation matter? To what degree, I don't know the answer to that question, because if you swing too far on that pendulum, one direction or the other, and you absolutely fade situations. And I remember this. CeeDee Lamb lands in Dallas. I don't really like it. Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. Don't really like it. A.J. Brown in Tennessee. I can't buy into that situation. And then on the other side of it, McCole Hardman in Kansas City. He's a first-round pick. Yeah. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in Kansas City. He's over DeAndre Swift and Jonathan Taylor. Oh my God, such and such landed in this situation. It's going to be great. And then they don't live like it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know how much, and I do agree that Jacksonville, they're going to have to do a lot, because the thing is, man, that situation around them, the talent isn't going to improve that much more. I believe they only have 1 first-round pick this year. It's looking like the 101. They ain't taking a wide receiver. It's going to be an offensive lineman or Aiden Hutchinson. So he's going to have, unless they lure people in via free agency, which this free agency class is not that good. Like, it took a massive hit. Chris Godwin and Michael Gallup were like the prize receivers in this free agency class, upcoming free agency class. The situation around them is not going to get much better. They haven't shown a good job of drafting talent. They may walk in the next season and their starting wide receivers are DJ Chark and Laquan Treadwell. Those could be the two starting wide receivers for Jacksonville, with Travis Etienne coming off of a foot injury, no James Robinson. So again, we're just betting on the talent of Trevor Lawrence. And Jay, we've got this graphic right here. Rookie quarterback, fantasy points per game, week 12 through 17. This is what we got. And I know it's kind of skewed because it was the, one game from Trey Lance. But Trey Lance, Justin Fields, right? You got Zach Wilson, 15.51 fantasy points per game. Mac Jones. I think what is this? What is 6 around Zach Wilson? Is that supposed to be a different number? Is it supposed to be 3, 4?
Games played, right?
Played.
So Trey Lance, 1 game played, Justin Fields, 2, then Zach and Mac and Davis all had pretty much their full season.
Look at Trevor Lawrence, weeks 12 through 17. I mean, 10.6 fantasy points per game. That's lower than Davis Mills, 12.93. Much lower than Mac Jones, 14.1. A lot lower than Zach Wilson's 15.51. And then you got Justin Fields and Trey Lance playing minimal games. But T-Law did not help his cause this season. He did not help his cause this season at all. But I refuse to believe he's a bust. I refuse to believe that, man. I'll let you say what you think, but I can't. There's no way we can say he's a bust after year 1. There's no way. No way we can say he's a bust after year 1. My question is this.
But
okay, let me ask you this. Let's play a game. Who would you rather have, Jalen Hurts or Trevor Lawrence right now?
Jalen Hurts. It's not even close.
Trey Lance, Justin Fields, or Trevor Lawrence?
Okay, so if we're going there, let's just rank them, and I would easily
rank them.
Justin Fields. Justin Fields for me for fantasy is number 1.
Okay,
he's number 1 because I think everything I've seen from him, situation hopefully going to improve, weapons, personnel, all these things will get better. The biggest thing with Justin Fields, his sack percentage is high as hell because he holds the ball too long.
Yeah, he holds the ball.
But he's going to get better at that, right?
Yeah.
Then second, I'd probably put Mac Jones. Third, Zach Wilson. Fourth would be Trevor Lawrence. Fifth is Trey Lance. The reason why Trey Lance is 5 is because he just has an incomplete rookie year right now. And I believe they have similar upside. So as good as Trey Lance looked in a couple of games, I think Trevor Lawrence can easily match that value in a couple of good games. But we'll see. But that's my 5.
Mac at
it's
2?
Fields.
Mac's 2?
At 2. Yeah, because I think you know what you're getting in Mac, right? At the end of the day. And even you're on record saying you think the situation's going to improve.
Yeah,
I think Zach Wilson's still got a lot of boom bust potential. So that's where it's like I'd take Mac over Wilson because of the boom bust. Trevor Lawrence, same thing. He has a lot to overcome in Jacksonville. Just the situation, the demons, the personnel, all these things are issues. And Trey Lance, best team by a mile to play on.
Yeah.
Best coach probably by a mile to play on. Upside sky high, floor is in the basement. So that's why he's at 5 for me. I would still be trying to acquire Trey Lance, but I think the price is not going to necessarily be worth the risk reward, depending on how good your team is, what your risk aversion level is. I'd probably have Lance at 5 right now until I maybe see a little bit more, or we get some more positive reports maybe coming out of camp where we can really see how well he's playing in this offense.
For me, I'm projecting forward. And right now, I would have Trey Lance at 1. I believe in the situation. I trust the talent around him. I believe in the infrastructure. And I know the sample size is 2 games this season. But he settled into that game versus Houston. And I know it was Houston, so
yeah.
I really wish he would play in this week because I think it's against the Rams. I think they play I really would like to see him versus a better defense. But I saw enough. Like, I'm like, if he hits, he's gonna hit in a major way. Like, we just talked about all these quarterbacks, which one can jump into top 8 territory and compete with the Lamars and the Burrows. I think it's Trey Lance. At 2, I would have Justin Fields. At 3, I would have Mac Jones over Trevor Lawrence. I believe in what New England's going to do to get him better. And I've seen 3,500 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, And one thing that I look for is completion percentage. He's completing the ball at a high clip. I don't care how he's doing it. People want him to push the ball downfield, and my question is to who? Who the hell is he throwing to downfield? I'd have Mac at 3. Right now, if I'm projecting for it, I'd probably have Zach Wilson at 4 and T-Law at 5. And I'm not even out on T-Law. I'm not even out on him.
Yeah.
I don't trust that situation. I'm not out on him. I'm not out on him like you. You're telling people you're out on him, trade him, sell him 3 games in the next season, get rid of him. I'm not saying any of that. Jacksonville is going to have to do a lot. And the fact that they don't want to get Trent Baalke out of the front office role, the fact that they're looking at Doug Peterson, maybe Doug Peterson works. Maybe Doug Peterson works. I don't trust that situation. And what I saw this season, I don't know if he can overcome Jacksonville. And I don't know if any quarterback, like it's almost, wasn't there a point where the Jets had the number 1 pick? It almost would have been better for him to go to the Jets, right? Like I just don't know.
Yeah, way better.
I don't know who could overcome Jacksonville. Now, the story, man, we're only in the prologue. We ain't even halfway through the book.
Yeah.
We're only in the prologue for these quarterbacks. I'll just say this, wholesale, when I'm looking at these quarterbacks from 2021, I would take every last one of them, all of them, except Davis Mills. And Davis Mills would slot in somewhere with the other ones over the 2022 guys. I would take the top 5 QBs, whatever order you want to have them in, Lawrence, Wilson, Fields, Lance, Fields, all of them over every quarterback in 2022. And I love Matt Corral.
Okay, let's play a game, though. Let's play a game. Is
What?
there a spot that Matt Corral could go that he could slot into that top 5? That you think maybe a little bit realistic? You know, there's a lot of open spots, but the problem is like I'm looking at the Giants need a quarterback.
No.
We know Denver needs a quarterback, but they're probably not going to
Maybe.
trade up. They're going to go the veteran route, right?
Yeah.
A quarterback could end up in Seattle.
No.
Maybe Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh
Maybe.
decides to come up.
Pittsburgh and Carolina
Yeah.
are the 2. If I'm looking at the NFL teams and you're talking about the honeypot situations where you got the talent around you, CMC, DJ Moore in Carolina, Pittsburgh, you already know it's Claypool, it's Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth, Najee Harris. Offensive line is abysmal, but if they can get a better quarterback back there, maybe extend some plays. If Corral lands it, the football team is interesting with McLaurin.
For sure.
That's interesting, but I think
Carolina scares me a little bit, though. I think the coaching situation in Carolina is still up for grabs.
But I'm looking at the talent around him. If all you got to do is throw to CMC 2 yards, and that's 1,000 yards baked in right there. You got DJ Moore, that's another grand right there. I just think there's some talented pieces around it, but you're right. That infrastructure is not good. And I don't think Philadelphia is going to take a quarterback. So point is, I don't think any of the 2022 guys. I'd rather have all of the ones in 2021 over the guys in 2022. That's just where I'm at. So it was not the season that we expected from these rookie quarterbacks. Again, we're just in the prologue, but today I am concerned. And I don't know if there's any truth to this or not, but I always wonder, can players be broken? Like, was Josh Rosen really that bad, or did he get broken by the Arizona Cardinals and it was just a wrap for him? I think he was that bad, but I'm hoping that Trevor Lawrence was not broken down or any of that. I saw him on a Subway commercial last night, and I was just praying for that young man and hope it gets better in Jacksonville. Yeah, man, I see people talking about Malik Willis. Malik Willis is better. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, you hate Malik Willis?
I don't hate Malik Willis. I will see him in a couple of weeks in Mobile, and I'm going to ask him, does he think he needs time to develop, or does he feel he's NFL ready from day one? So we'll get to see that. It was a good week, man. The audio was right this week. Jay, I think it was a good show, man. I thought it was a good show. Went through all the rookies this week. Beautiful. Next week, we got mock drafts. We got the national championship game on Monday. Alabama versus Georgia. Pick who you got. Who's winning? Who's winning the Natty?
Oh, Bama. Give me Bama on the money line, baby.
All right, Bama on the money line. A lot of people, Malik Willis is the best athlete with the best arm. Oh, boy, the Malik Willis lovers followers on the GQ channel. We appreciate y'all tapping in. No show tomorrow, but make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up, like the content. Thank y'all for rocking with us. Week 1 back in the saddle. Next week, mock drafts. I told you that. Q&As. Make sure you follow the Wake Up TV Twitter account. Submit your questions over there. Y'all have a fantastic Thursday. Enjoy football this weekend. We'll be back bright and early, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Waking up with your boy, Ray and Jay. We out of this thing. We love y'all. Peace.